Part 4 ending to the triple ticket, other parts down below. Let's end this one. On divorce, I expect consent order to be sealed in 2 weeks' time, for me to take on the house first week of June and pay off the ex at the same time. Creates a new world for me, where financial uncertainty is the new norm, but there is plenty of equity in the house should the crap hit the fan, and there is more to life than money. That leaves applying for absolute, which I think I will do it in a couple of weeks. It's the bind that stops OM meeting the kids, and I could delay it until end of September if I wanted to, but I feel we all must move on now and hope that the impact on my boys is minimal. Let's hope OM can learn from all that has happened this week and change his spots. So, another few dates with the new GF plan this week. I have my social activities lined up, my counseling session. I'm running, going to gym, new GF has bought me a golf lesson, so thoughtful. And work is busy but rewarding. Only 141 days since D-Day. Lots of progress, and boy, do I feel a better person. And going higher. No court, judge sessions here, all agreed outside of court, in mediation, and the only thing I have asked a judge to do, aside from granting me the allowance to D, is to seal the agreement that I have a clean break from her financially, and that I am handed the deeds to the house, after paying her cheating ass off. That is the part that is 2 weeks away but doesn't require any attendance or discussions in court, all done behind closed doors by one judge alone. Now, if the STBX decides she wants to try and go against our mediation agreement of 50-50 custody, and move the children to OM's new hometown, then I will have to go down the court route, but that will be separate to D and the financial settlement. That is a horrid battle, but one I will be fully prepared for and one I will win. Remember, I have the text proof that she drunk drive, was staying in hotels with OM instead of being at home with kids, used work time and resources to further her affair, got promotion and pay rise from boss, got letter from OM harassing me. The list is long. Well, what a difference a woman makes. At 4th date with the new lady in my life, drinks out in town, came back to mine and I cooked dinner. I had the best first night bonding I've ever had in my life. Really made me realize what passion I had been missing and that I accepted my last few years as normal. She is on the same page as me, busy single parent, lots of work, lots of friends, lots of her own interests, and she knows we can only see each other once a week at most. Although she would like that to be more, she is really content and I feel the balance is just perfect for me right now. I have made a commitment to her, especially after the infidelity I suffered. I want to be a decent guy and not mess her about. If it doesn't feel like it is working out between us long term, we both said we would call it and we'd know that we've had a good time and that we've both enhanced each other's lives. I told her I don't want to change her, nor to control her. She must be herself, and I, myself, and if that doesn't work, then no biggie. It is possible she is a very close match, and I guess it is that worries me a little. I've only had a handful of dates, so to think I am comfortable already seems a little too early, too good to be true. I am taking it steady and have never been this honest and open this early in a relationship, but strangely, that honesty seems to spur her on even more. In terms of the ex, was considering posting the content of my letter to her, and the STBX response on here. Would it be useful for other BS to see what I did, said, and how she responded? I don't know, maybe I should just park all that now. Sat in traffic this morning in my hometown and STBX and OM pull alongside me, both sitting in his Discovery, on their way to work together, smiling smugly at me. Took all my strength not to flip them the bird. This still makes me mad. They are now quite happy to travel and arrive at work together. Everyone is so happy they have found love in the last few weeks after both going through terrible divorces, after spending a night together. It's the unfairness. That is my wife he has taken. That is the OM that reduced my time with my young sons by 50%. They get away with it and are having the time of their life. Not fair. Angry, upset, rage, frustration. I guess it shows I'm not quite as far forward as I had hoped, and that these things do really take years to recover from. It's been difficult leaving the affair part behind, but I was always aware that I didn't want to overplay the victim. I have enjoyed the confidence boost, and the bonding is amazing, even allowing for pet boosts. She is also a BS, and we have spoken about her past trust issues already, but we've been so open. I can tell she is fine with me, as she should be, but there is an undertone of insecurity there, so just want to keep an eye on that. But you're right, this is just two single people getting together to share some good times. If a long way down the track this works out as something more, then great, but I'm good for now. Busy couple of weeks, had a lads golf weekend away, where old colleagues and distant friends were very supportive and understanding, having heard my news through other friends. Great time and lovely weather, and I finished 4th and got some prize money to help pay for the beer and whiskey. Also popped into to see my parents. Sister also came round for dinner and had a very open and honest conversation with them all about happiness, etc., and what I am discussing in counseling sessions. They were a little taken back to hear me talk so frankly about my childhood and how they have impacted my relationships and how I am as a father. Again, felt good to be open and honest. Had a weekend away with the new GF, actually jumped on a flight to France for a long weekend. Amazing food, wine and bonding. I felt a little overwhelmed towards the end, but she sensed this and we've had a good chat. She has backed off and has been very reassuring about what she expects out of our relationship. So, refreshing after many years of terrible communication, listening, and, let's face it, bonding. In my marriage, had a major scare with her Monday, a few hours when she had convinced me that she was pregnant. But it was a very, in hindsight, amusing mix-up. Lesson learnt though. This left me in a bit of a reflective mood. I'm concerned I'm not ready for any type of relationship. My head knows the divorce is for the best, but my heart is taking time to catch up, and I don't think I'm over the ex yet. That said, if GF is okay with this, we have spoken about it and she says she is, then I think why not let myself go a little and see what can happen. As I told boys and STBX about my GF, I have noted a slight ramp up in comms from the ex, any opportunity to email, message or send pictures, especially whilst I was away this weekend, was taken by her. Amusing to note, but doesn't change anything as far as I am concerned. I'm trying to keep NC going, but lots of things around the boys to discuss and the divorce, so I took the opportunity to tell her that I'll never be comfortable with OM, so she may as well introduce the boys to him, providing the boys want to and also providing we discuss exactly how he is to be involved. I suggested that he should not be sleeping over with them for 6 months and that I have first refusal on pickups, sports clubs, etc. If she can't make it and was thinking OM can step in, I have to trust that he will be a long-term partner and that he will treat my boys with respect, if nothing more than out of respect for his relationship with my ex. Spoke to OMW last night too. PSOSOM is still dragging my name through the mud, calling me names, suggesting I am still out to hurt him, accusing me of delaying the divorce and purposely delaying when I sent X the money as agreed. I strongly suspect he spammed my email too. I am very careful when I use the address, but recently have received 100 seconds of spam, debt, marriage, divorce, dating websites. OMW tells me this is his style of revenge and she too has had spam like this. He really is a nasty piece of work. To be honest, it sounds as though they have major cash flow problems. He is in debt and they are still going out on dates and holidays together, yet she asks me to advance the divorce cash for the boys' summer holiday. Just chased my solicitor on whether they have heard back from court on my financial consent order. If that is okay, it'll be 2 weeks until divorce and I'll take on the house and pay the POSXW a huge lump sum. Painful, but a price worth paying to move forwards. Still have some bad moments, triggers from songs, thoughts of how my life map could still be achieved, etc. But I do snap back quicker to reality and the reminder of how broken and emotionally stunted the ex is. For my girlfriend, she is using birth control, but better safe than sorry, I suppose. I too suspect he is using her for emotional kibbles and also financial gain, allowing him to fund a lifestyle of CIO. OMW is very clear on what might happen. She fully expects OM to be crawling back to her within 6 to 12 months. She says no to that. OMW is more concerned with my ex meeting her 14-year-old daughter. She is afraid she'll lose her. What I learned from her last night astounded me. She hasn't told her kids what OM has done. She rug swept it to protect them. I had strong words to tell her she cannot lie to her kids, but she wasn't keen to tell them. I don't think she does think she screwed up. As a backup plan, she always maintained we'd be better off apart, OM or no OM, so she had convinced everyone she didn't leave me for him. So even if this goes wrong, she'll claim it's for the best. And you know what? She's right. Damn it. No point trying to fool myself. It's been a tough few days. Fake it until you make it only works so far. It never really helps your heart catch up with your head. I don't know if it's the cooling off of my new relationship, the fact that D is a 2 weeks away, or that I'm taking on the house, and the fear that goes with that, but I am triggering every hour and cannot get STBX out of my head. It doesn't matter that you guys come on and tell me to remind myself who the ex really is. I still have visions of the future with her and my boys, the life map that I just can't seem to let go, get over. Any tips from anyone on that? There isn't even a remote hint of this and I am strong enough to keep NC going, but I have to admit, if she came round with her tail between her legs, or the infamous long coat with nothing on, I would really struggle to turn her away. Why the hell would I even be thinking like that? It's particularly odd because I have the boys for 9 nights, have loads lined up for all of us, seeing friends, work is busy, weather is amazing, GF is still keen. Had a crazy 20 minutes on Friday. Picking boys up, I had GF telling me she thinks I'm not over the ex and potentially in the relationship for wrong reason. Revenge. Then solicitor called me to tell me the consent order that I asked him to chase had been approved that afternoon. So that's it. Clean financial break. I can complete and take on the house in my name and can apply for decree absolute. So that's it. All over bar a piece of paper. Weird feeling with my new life overlapping with my old. I guess over next few days it will sink in and I can move on. Until he meets my boys and then a whole new world begins. Still, for now, had a cracking boozy weekend in the sun with mates and all the boys played together nicely. Things could be a lot worse and that is something to be thankful for. Lots still going on. House completes on Friday. Should be a moment of celebration, but bloody scary thinking I've just bought a house in my own. Decree absolute applied for, so days away from formal divorce. Very busy at work, but that is enjoyable. X was asking questions about the GF, what I'm doing, where I'm going, etc. She asked for cash advance of divorce settlement for boys' holiday again, and also told me OM is meeting boys in a couple of weeks. I'm not fussed by any of it but miss my boys and don't like the idea of him fathering them at all, but nothing I can do. Had a chat with new GF Sunday. She was seeking validation again, fishing for compliments, and then misconstrued things I said. More red flags than I was comfortable with. Then I denied her advances. Her son was in the house at the time and I wasn't comfortable, and this rejection upset her. Left it until last night when told her I don't feel ready for a relationship, which she twisted into me not liking her, not wanting her, etc. So, on reflection, a real shame. So many positives to be taken, but I am pleased I was able to call it and not get blinded by the physical side and her generosity. So single again, which is probably just as well. Lots of emotional hurdles to get over this month. Don't feel that bad about anything though. Just a little tired from the whole process. Communication is only on the children, so she takes that opportunity to ask questions, etc. Doesn't mean I respond to it. I've had one face-to-face talk with her, other than the unfortunately but rare times drops off have to be done in person, since January. In legal terms, the divorce settlement cash is due to her tomorrow, when I complete on the house, but I don't think she knows that, so playing a little delay tactic. So, she will get the boys' holiday money in good time. Just great that she spends crap loads on her and OM. They are on holiday together next week, but can't budget for her sons. Sense of entitlement is incredible. Nah, what's the worst the OM can do with my boys? I have a strong bond with them and the eldest tells me everything. So anything dodgy, I'm all over it, and I still have other ways, beside legal, to hurt OM and his failing reputation. Still think they are in this for the long term though. Neither of them has a plan B anymore and neither of them have decent friends. I have sat back from the failed post-D relationship and I can really understand why people on here tell me this is going to take years. I will not turn down the opportunity to have some fun with women, but I know I need to be alone to work through this. Anger rises again when I think like that because, why couldn't the ex just have left and not of the affair? I would have still been hurt by loss of my wife and burning of my life map, but it wouldn't have affected my future relationships so much. Quick weekly update. House completed without any hitches, and I've written the $65,000 check, which is her payoff, that in return, I get a clean break from her and zero comeback on anything financial, whatever happens to either of us. We'll hand that check over to her on Sunday, when I drop off the boys. They have been with me for over a week while she goes off on holiday with OM. Within the envelope is a request that she changes her name back to her maiden name. I don't want her using our family name after the crap she has pulled off. I doubt she will go for this, especially as it's her estranged, now dead, dad's name. Her mum remarried, so she hates it, but hey, worth asking. Absolute has been granted, so it is officially all over, exactly 6 months from D-Day. Incredible it's gone through that quickly, but I pushed, and that is the reward. I celebrated by posting a public message on Facebook along the lines of I'm divorced from cheating wife, good luck to her and her married father boss boyfriend. It'll take it down in a couple of weeks, but I needed to mark the moment with the truth being told, somehow. I am really thankful it has gone as smoothly as possible. Look at Danny and Sid's horror stories. I know this could have been so much more painful. So, I guess at some point in the future, I will look back on the last 6 months and feel proud of my actions. Right now, though, it still hurts. I still feel lost for what might have been, but can see what can be on the future. I still hate OM for doing what he did, but I can see how weak and sad he is underneath the bravado, so that is reassuring. The next milestone arrives in 9 days' time. OM is meeting my boys for the first time. I'm away volunteering at a music festival, so it's probably good timing really, but I'm not sure how I'm going to react. For now, I feel okay. It's the longer days out, the overnight stays, the holidays away as an extended family with his kids, etc. That might get me worked up. On the plus side, I have got Father's Day this Sunday, lunch with my boys and my dad, then a date with a stunning lass on Sunday and another with a local girl on Monday. Made it clear to them, nothing serious, just getting back out there. Back from my volunteering, and the festival was everything I expected it to be. Perfect balance of work, seeing friends, seeing bands, and some time alone. On the Sunday, while I was there, I knew OM was meeting my boys for the first time. I was reflective but at ease with the inevitable. Standing watching one of my favorite singers, front row, in the sun. I get a text from OM along the lines of thanks for allowing me to meet your boys. They are amazing and a credit to you and ex-wife. How dare he ruined the moment. Didn't respond, number, new phone, blocked, but damage is done. Then I pick up my kids. First thing youngest says, without any prompting. We met OM, played football, puzzles, and we're going to his house this weekend. Dagger, through my heart. I know I have to go through this, but it's too much to take. I feel I'm losing them to him now too. So, poll time. I want revenge. Should I go to their work HR with all of the evidence I have of the affair starting long before they hinted at marriage trouble? The evidence that it started just before she got promoted, or not? I did tell the kids. In fact, I did it, with X present, in my house 2 weeks after D-Day. I told her to tell them why she was moving out and who OM was. I said tell them who the other man is. This became a little in joke with the cheaters. Who is this other man? They used to text each other. Since then, the eldest knows Mummy had a new boyfriend when still married to Daddy, and that is wrong. He got it. Completely. The youngest was told he is the man who took Mummy away and ended our family. He tells me I know. You told me that when I reminded him who OM is last week. So, they know. But they are young and such friendly, outgoing little lads. They just get on with everyone. I guess I have to reframe this as positive. Still cuts though. No worries, I have no intention of ever intentionally meeting OM. I guess the day will come when we run into each other, but make no mistake, both X and OM know I detest him and will never be friends with either of them. Of course, with her rewritten history of me, this makes me look BSC, but I know, my kids know, my real friends know the truth, so, screw them. All paperwork, money divided by legal has been completed. Completely, no comeback. Still, I am really 50/50 on work exposure. Is it revenge driven? Is it justice? Is it the right thing to do? Just hate the way they have got away with this, and everyone at their work thinks they got together last month, helping each other through the breakdown of their marriages. What a pile of steaming horse manure. Wish I didn't spend time and energy on this crap, but they are so entitled. Go and do what they want. Text me without a concern in the world about how I feel, and then I get dragged back in. She probably won't lose her job, but it doesn't matter. We have a clean financial break. Zero comeback possible. Yes, so if she can't work, it could affect the boy's lifestyle, but I've just given her 65. So, unless OM has drained that for his new discovery he just bought, she'll be okay for a few years, even if the worst happens. Oh, and just to add to the fun, it's eldest son's birthday on Sunday. Have to go to her house for the party and play Happy Families with her past friends that supported her decision. Hurdle after hurdle at the moment. After not getting any sleep due to a Tinder date, I rocked up feeling on top of the world. Polite nods and acknowledgments to X and her past friends. Then I launched into being entertainer for the kids. During all this I observed the X and realized I no longer hold any feelings for her. No attraction, no hate, no anger, nothing but a hint of amusement of how crappy her life must be. The way she went about the party, her annoying fake laugh, the constant organization, planning, the stressful style she goes about things, reminded me of the things that used to annoy me when we were married. So, an unexpected bonus to a potentially difficult day. On exposure to his work, thanks for all the input. A lawyer friend suggested if I did want to do it, it's best done with a lawyer present, to avoid counterclaims and for seriousness. I'll sleep on it. Probably a waste of money. As for OM, my 4-year-old brought me back to reality. He said he was upset that I don't like the man who took Mummy away. So, going to ease off for now. What will be, will be. But I isn't going to be friends with either of them. Ever. Update. Going back through what contributors told me, for anyone who has recently discovered they are a victim of infidelity, listen to what the experienced crowd say, they will be correct. I was told it will ease with time, that they have done me a favor, that I deserve better. She's not the same woman I married. If I can get through this, I can get through anything. I'll never figure out why it happened. She was a bad choice, etc. All totally correct, but you wouldn't have convinced me in the early days. Now I know, they were right. I guess some of the other predictions of others are outstanding, including that she will try to get me back. What I can say is, on this one I hope they are wrong. However, I am, partly thanks to having to spend 2 hours with her at my son's birthday, a place where I am indifferent to her and wouldn't even entertain taking her out on a date to find out what if. There are far better options out there, mother of my sons or not. This isn't a good enough reason to settle for second, or worse, best. Arriving at this feeling is partly down to dating. I know some have opinions on whether dating so soon after, during, as it was, divorce is right, good or helpful, but I think, as long as you go an open-minded and honest approach but with the clear mindset that you will not be ready for anything serious, the interaction, the conversations, the touch of a new partner certainly helps. It did for me. It boosted my self-esteem, gave me a distraction on the days I don't have the boys, and, most importantly for me, it gave me a chance to put into practice what I had learned from the demise of my marriage and the part I played in it. Things are good, very good when I actually sit back and think of what might have been. I have my house, a decent job that just about allows me to maintain my standard of living, albeit with a large loan from my parents. I'm dating, have a great set of friends and neighbors. I have a new goals list now and am fitter, more toned than I have ever been. I even feel my confidence coming back at work, social situations. I have attention from females, and the ones that I allow to get close to me, well, I have noticed that within a very short space of time, they see what a good catch I am and start to look for more ways to be together. So, for all of you newbies, and perhaps oldies, out there, single dads in their late 30s, early 40s, who have their crap together, are seen as a great catch, especially by other single mums and especially by those who also suffered infidelity. The fears are still there. For instance, the likelihood that the XW moves the boys to live with him 90 minutes away, but I manage those thoughts so much better. I see played a big part in this, as did this forum and reading books. I have learned to reframe the potential negative situations into positive ones. It doesn't matter that you didn't choose the situation you are in, you can, and will, react to make it the best outcome. The co-parenting is sometimes tough. I still get a slight hint of fear every time I see XW name appear on an email or text, because I don't know if there is going to be a life-changing request, like the above, in there. The days we do have to meet for drop-offs or sporting events do still provide me with a small amount of anxiety. However, each occasion passes, with me still following 180 rules, and each time, I feel better. It's only been 7 months, so my expectation is that, come the new year, with an annual set of events out the way since D-Day, I will be fully moved on and ready to tackle anything. Pretty sure I know how it would have worked out. 1. I wouldn't have got a great deal on the financial settlement of my divorce, as she would have lost her job and the pay rise she got by sleeping with him that allowed me to reduce the lump sum I paid her. 2. It would have made co-parenting almost impossible. She is a stubborn bee and would have used the exposure against me. 3. She would have come crawling back, the ultimate disaster. I said it before, they did me a favor, because if she hadn't had the affair, I would have tried to make it work, and that would have just been kicking the can down the road. 4. His wife and kids would have been impacted, as he would likely lose his job, and, given he is a BS in his career, he is struggling to find a new job as it is. The OBS doesn't deserve that on top of the pain of infidelity. Issue is, this all still might happen anyway, and the only people I care about that are going to be affected, my sons. XWW told me OM is going on the holiday she has arranged for her and the kids next week. The really odd thing was, she made a point of calling out that this doesn't change his role and he is merely another adult in their lives. Oh, and that he will be sleeping in the lounge, not her bed. This is probably even more confusing for my boys than if he did sleep in the bed. I mean, come on, they know who he is by now. Very odd. As many said before, it's great when you can step back and view this from a distance. You can almost see the next 2 or 3 moves, and, although it doesn't make it any easier, I can be prepared with my reaction and response. Today, it genuinely was a shrug of the shoulders, a deletion of the email without response, and back to doing my work. Been a while, but today is 100 steps forward, 150 steps back. Long story short, my eldest son was staying at my parents' for the week. XWW asked if she could collect him from there and go on to her holiday with the boys. No problem. Arranged to have all of the eldest things packed up. Provided X with an update on my son's week via email, and expected them to hand over to her car with youngest son already with her. Job done. Tonight, while driving back from watching my football team's unexpected cup victory, I might add, so in a great mood, I call my parents. My mum answers. I ask if handover went without hitches. Pause. Do you really want to know? She asks. Well, yes. She then goes on to tell me she invites XWW in for a cup of tea. XWW then proceeds to tell my mum that there were major issues on both sides, that Chris, OM, wasn't anything to do with the breakdown of the relationship, and that she knows that I am getting treatment for my depression, which is good. Oh, and she also said, I just wish we could all sit down over dinner, as friends, and discuss the boys one day. So here I have my mum asking me if I'm depressed and what major issues I caused on my side. Now, I am aware that I might be overacting here, but if my parents haven't got my back, then who the hell has? This raises another issue. I don't really like my parents anymore. They don't seem to understand me at all. One example that my mum gave was how upset I was that I told her that's not helpful when, 10 days after D-Day, she said, isn't it such a shame, you had your whole life with her to look forward to. I mean, just think before opening your gob. She never does. Controlling and opinionated. My mum seems more obsessed with worrying about what I might say or so that might affect her feelings. I did discuss this in IC and have tried new methods of comms, but it's tough going. I was depressed, yes, caused by my reaction to XWW in action over the past 5 years. No bonding, no respect, no admiration, no connection. On top of this, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but OM, who is to join them a couple of days later, has given X his brand new Land Rover to drive down and around in for the holiday. For me, this is so difficult, as it acts as a symbol that they are living the high life and that cheating works and has no downsides. Well, apart from the irony that OBS tells me OM is depressed and suicide runs in his family. Right now, I am back to anger, sadness, and thoughts of revenge. I want to drive straight up to their workplace tomorrow and dump the evidence of the affair with HR and let them deal with the fallout. Honestly, I wish they would both disappear off the face of the earth before I do. I've continued to distance myself from my mum after her willingness to listen to and believe the ex's story, and I find my mood in a much, much better place for not having to speak to her. One to pick up an IC, as that must mean something. Dating has been going well. Had a crazy period a few weeks ago and went on 5 first dates, and one, a local lass, 42, mum of 1, went really well. Seen her twice more since. Slight concern, mostly down to my fear of being labeled a hypocrite, is that she is still going through divorce. Got my eyes and mind open on that one, but it feels good for now and she is HD, so feeling is at least that area is covered, although taking it slowly, learning from past dating. Outside of all that, I am still hitting the gym, seeing friends, playing football, going to gigs, running, playing the guitar more, etc., and work continues to go well. All helps to keep the mind healthy. Smile and the whole world smiles with you. Current woman I'm dating is in the process of divorce. Non-physical marriage that she worked at for years, and 6 months after he told her I don't love you. A year ago, she decided to split and they separated. Tonight, I asked about her dating since, and she very willingly offered up a honest story that, straight after she split with her ex, that she joined a website to have casual, safe bonding to boost her self-esteem. I get that, but she had slept with 2 married men during this time. On one hand, I'm gutted that she'd do that, but I can tell this was a 3-month period she had to go through, and since then, she's dated but not had bonding. I expressed my disappointment that she had chosen to get involved with married men, but gut feel is she has high moral, and that this was just an easy way to validate herself after years of rejection. So, I'm thinking too much with my crap. I've had not slept with her, but my God, if there ever was going to be someone who matched me in physical drive, fantasies, frequency, it's her. She's local, I've been round hers, I have spoken to a mutual friend, I know her story is true, of course, he will have his side of the story too, but it all stacks up. Irrespective, she is still married. I have told her that isn't something I find comfortable with. When she called me this morning to ask how I felt about it today, I told her I found it disappointing that she chose an extramarital affairs website to seek her confidence boost, that she was selfish in thinking that was the safest option and didn't think of the impact on the OMW. She admits she made a bad decision based off physical drive and reiterated that she was faithful throughout her 17-year relationship, up to that point. Usual line of, it's in the past. Well, isn't everything? I'm not interested in a serious long-term relationship, and nor is she, so I guess it's weighing up my morals on both her marital status and whether no strings bonding is worth it, knowing she did cheat in the past. If I am coming across as too much of a hypocrite, feel free to knock me back down. She's not marriage material, low integrity, but I'm not after a serious long-term relationship. Well aware feelings can develop quickly and have that flagged in my mind. Will it sound harsh and accepting of her behavior if I didn't trigger if we had slept together? For me, it shows I am actually mentally away from the lows that my ex-WW affair brought. So, she made a mistake, a very bad judgment, and she realizes that now, but she willingly told me the truth, which is worth something, no, worth a lot, in my book. I like the idea of asking if she would consider tracking down the wives of the men she met on that website, though her response will be telling. There are plenty of other fish, but right now, this isn't a good spot for me. Not perfect, but I have no hesitation in calling it off in an instant. You guys underestimate me, pretty strong right now. The concern was more on a moral, ethical one. As I said, I don't want to feel like I am betraying my fellow BS by sleeping with someone who made the mistake to enable affairs in the past. We'll keep it at arm's length for now. Update. Well, I asked for it and I got it. It's a huge disappointment to me. I told you the bad part to this woman, but the good parts were great, really great. But hey, I made a promise to myself and I have the chance to avoid such women in the future. I'm beating myself up about why I'm finding this so difficult. My morals and expectations are very clear, but you guys are right. I'm trying to find a reason to justify her history. We had a long chat about it, and through that, although she shows remorse about what she did, because it was a paid website, illicit encounters, she seems to think that the guys she did sleep with had good reasons for seeking out bonding. Very difficult to hear her say this and for her not to think about, feel compassion for the unwitting wives who were sitting at home with the kids while she was out having dinner, drinks, sleeping with their husband, in a hotel. Just when you thought this was the biggest thing to deal with, guess what? The ex is moving in with with my boys. She won't tell me where, though not too far, and it's going to be so positive for the boys. So have my solicitor on the case. Months of great progress and I feel like I'm back at square one, shaking, triggering, angry, upset. Honestly, I don't want them to split up. I just want them to screw off and leave me and my boys alone. They are welcome to each other. My boys do not deserve to be used as some kind of toy while these two work out what is they are looking for. I have, after legal advice, emailed her to say we must re-enter mediation immediately to discuss changes. I also called their work, without providing names of course, but the HR department was less than useless. They didn't seem interested at all and couldn't see what I was trying to tell them. She stopped short of saying so what, but I could tell from her tone. Given UK laws on exposure, I am going to see if my local solicitor will attend a meeting with their HR tomorrow. Had enough of this crap. The ex, for whatever reason, is playing a game and won't tell me exactly where she is going, although she has already told my boys. But having spoken to OMW for first time in 3 months, she tells me OM has just rented a big house in a small village that is a 15 minutes drive from the boys' schools. So, although it is local, it's still disruption, living with her married boss, who hasn't even started divorce proceedings, no petition from her or him yet. OMW told me that last night, who has 2 teenage kids, and sometimes their girlfriends, that stay with him in that house at least every other weekend. What an unsafe and unstable environment for my 4- and 7-year-old to be put in, that worries me. We also agreed in the financial consent order that is legally binding, that her child maintenance payments would be reduced, i.e. I paid her a higher lump sum, because when the boys turn 12, they will walk to school and will not need childcare. This change removes that possibility, so she is breaking that agreement. So, I have, via email and purposely politely and informally without raising any of the above, proposed to her that the boys live here with me full-time and she gets them every other weekend and to see them midweek after school. If she declined, then it's full steam ahead on a child arrangement order. Her email today. OP. The unexpectedness of your emails yesterday was a shock, and the varied tone and style was unnerving. You suggested and we agreed that a weekly email update concerning the boys was appropriate, unless in the event of an emergency. Yesterday's contact was not only inappropriate and disruptive but seemed concerned more with you not knowing details as opposed to the boys' contentment. Please stop the irregular contact and revert to the weekly communication, unless you would like to discuss alternative arrangements. Today's emails about suggesting reducing the boys' time with me were very upsetting, as is your assertion that I am disregarding agreements made. All I am doing is changing my address and giving you more than 5 weeks' notice of the event. Plenty of time to adjust. The boys are happy, I am happy. I'm more than willing to discuss the matter in front of a solicitor, but it feels like a waste of money to me, and certainly not in the boys' best interest. I propose that the current arrangements, which are working well, remain as is. The interactions with you this week have felt intimidating, aggressive, and have made me feel very uncomfortable. My focus needs to be on the boys, not on your reactions to changes in my life and how I live. The move update. I am still intrigued how you know anything about me moving, as so few people know of it, as it's still a way off, and they all deny having contact with you. But regardless of that, I have not raised it before now because A, it isn't happening for a while, and B, I wanted to talk to the boys first. My focus is whether they are happy, and I wanted to know what they thought before informing you. I have some great chats with DS7, usually at very random moments when a memory or thought occurs to him. I have a very strong relationship with both boys and value their opinions. As confirmed yesterday, I am not moving until mid-November. Both boys have been to the new house as OM has been living there since mid-September. They thoroughly enjoyed themselves there and have been extremely relaxed. DS7 has some concerns, but they are 1, that I will leave all our furniture and things behind. I have assured him this is not the case, and 2, what your reaction will be. The country air and scenery of the new location is much more pleasant to be around than a housing estate on the edge of our town, and this move should be a good thing for the boys. As my residence will continue to be in our town until mid-November, I will give you the new address when I move. Currently, it is just OM's house and therefore there is no need for you to have his address. As also mentioned yesterday, I spoke to the boys about it this week in order to allow a slow but steady adjustment period for them. I know you're concerned about change for the boys, but there will be no change to their routine and only positive change in terms of their environment. I will have been in my current house for 10 months by the time I move, which is a long time in the memory of a child. Providing the boys with a stable, loving and warm environment to grow up in is our main responsibility. My moving does not change my ability or desire to provide that. In fact, quite the opposite, it will enhance it. Teaching the boys that change happens and teaching them how to cope with it is an invaluable life lesson. Whether they have positive or negative reactions to change is largely down to the examples we provide. With regards to my availability next week to discuss matters in front of a solicitor, I am free Tuesday afternoon. End of email. Update. Today is first wedding anniversary since divorce and would have been our 9th. I feel nothing bad about the day, no feeling or sadness. In fact, it was good to remember back to what a great day it was, and an old photo reminder popping up on Facebook made me smile. We seemed so young, so happy, so carefree. It may well have all been a front by her, but at the time it was fun. Looking forward to feeling like that again soon, minus the marriage. Bit of a wobble last week, picked up youngest son after week without him, and first thing he said was, "Mummy's boyfriend bought her a new Land Rover." I was sad because it was the first thing he said to me after I had been looking forward to seeing him, and he was so excited for a material item. Then I overthought it and got annoyed that everything seems to be going so well for them and they have loads of cash to splash. Seems so unfair, but I guess it's good they aren't asking me for money, and kinda funny that OM is repeating his routine with the women. I remember OMW telling me he did the same for her to lock her into the relationship. Over it now though, and looking forward to a night watching the footy at mine with a few mates and a few beers. Another update. As for now, well, things are pretty great actually. I'd say that over the past 6 months things have really calmed down into a routine for everyone. I still have my 2 boys, aged 8 and 5 now, 50% of the time, normally 1 week on, 1 week off, and they are gorgeous young boys. They are both at school and doing so well. I'm very proud of them. The XW and the OM are still together, living in a rented house in a village not too far from our home, and very little drama from them these days. He is still married but apparently close to divorce, and it seems everything is okay with them. Long may that continue. I rarely communicate with the ex aside from weekly emails about the boys and any urgent school business. That seems to work well, and even when she tries to get a reaction out of me, I simply ignore. As for me, I have kept to my goals and achieved all the short and medium tasks I set out last year, and only a handful of long-term goals remain. I got a massive internal promotion into a new role which really takes the pressure off the finances, and I love the new challenges it brings. I had a second round of counseling in the summer, including EMDR, which processed some deep-rooted issues. Felt amazing after that. I now meditate daily, practice mindfulness, and exercise more, all of which have really helped me move forwards. Still some work to do on trying to remain calm around the boys when they kick off, but I'm getting there. On the dating front, I've had 4 semi-serious relationships since divorce, and the current one is, again, good fun, which is still what I'm after right now. I can even see the irony that these women I'm dating want more bonding that I can handle. Careful what you wish for. I can see a point in the very near future that I'd entertain something more serious, but, to be honest, although I wouldn't have chosen this path, my lifestyle is pretty amazing. I get a week to concentrate on my boys and then a week to play football, run, watch football, see friends, go to gigs, date, and have fun nights out and in. Potentially giving that up would be a difficult thing to do, so we'll have to see how I feel. My comment: do you have to pay her anything? Child support. That is the only reason I would not blow up things at work, if she is earning and not taking money from you. Else, if it was made known to the board of that institution, they would both get fired, after an investigation. And putting his mate in between them wouldn't help that situation and would in fact make the mate seem suspect. Did you guys like this ending? Comment down below what you thought about this ending and what you would have done differently.